Hi everyone, welcome to our weekly Q&A session. And today is my pleasure to welcome I'm sorry, Coach Christian here. I apologize, but always it's always fun with Coach Christian. We are cracking jokes before we start, and it's really a big pleasure for me to work with him because I really love him. Really easygoing and nice personality. So I'm really glad that you landed with me in the Orange team. And this was the short introduction. And we already have a few questions that we got on the YouTube. And the first question is from Anne. Anne Hammer. Hello, sorry for my English, I'm German. No worries, kein Problem. Please answer. After many days without sleep, 7 or 9 days, really no sleep, do you think my brain is so nervous that only a pill can calm? And the other part of the question is, after this comes then always 7 to 9 days without sleep, that the body forced to sleep and then always the same. Okay, so I think the question is like, how is it basically possible, like not to sleep completely after 7 or 9 days of perceived sleep, and whether only a pill can help us to calm down and get some sleep. And the other part of the question is whether it is like always kind of like a cycle to stay completely sleepless until our body basically crashes into sleep or forces the sleep. So, what are your thoughts, Christian?
Yeah, first of all, Veronica, thank you so much for having me on here. I really, reciprocate everything that you said as well. If 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 we haven't talked about this before, when I started the immunity program, Veronica was one of my coaches. So she has been a tremendous lifeline for me from the moment I was dealing with my struggle, and so it is truly my pleasure to have a chance to work with you. So, going back to the question, what I would say is sometimes how we're looking at a situation can create a lot more anxiety. So maybe if we reframed this perspective that we have, it could be helpful. So the question was, how can I sleep? How can I not sleep for 7 or 9 days or however long it's been? So if we look at our system, what if we were in a situation where a bear was chasing us, and the bear just kept chasing us, of course, for nonstop for 7 or 9 days? Would it make sense that your system is just completely in a mode of survival, in a mode
Mm-hmm.
protecting itself? And so when the brain perceives wakefulness as a threat, it doesn't care about us. It doesn't care about us whether feeling comfortable or feeling safe or getting rest. It's only focused on survival. And so, if we can start seeing that our brain is responding to this perceived threat, then we can realize that maybe this is why we're in this hyperarousal state, in this state where we're not getting any sleep. Now we're putting more pressure on ourselves to try and get some sleep. So now we're even putting more pressure on ourselves, more monitoring. And then imagine under the same circumstances, right? We're being chased by a bear. It's 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and we take a pill, and we're somehow supposed to have this pill calm us down, make us feel that we're safe to a point where we can sleep. The brain doesn't care about it right now. So it'll fight with any of these sensations that the pill can, in other circumstances, if you're not dealing with insomnia, you're not hyper aroused, you're not in this fight or flight uh, situation, the pill can be calming, can be sedating, and it can encourage you to get to a point where you can sleep or rest well. But knowing and understanding that we are in this horrible, highly stressful situation of this hyper arousal, this fight or flight, this is why we're not sleeping, because right now the brain wants to be alive. It wants to keep you safe. Just like if you're in war, in the middle of war, if your threat level is incredibly high, it doesn't matter what time it is. It's focused on survival first and foremost. So that's what I would say to when people aren't sleeping for an extended period of time, they have this fight or flight hyperarousal levels really high. And then, of course, now there's this fear to try and perform sleep. And now there's more pressure to sleep. And so now we start incorporating this fight or flight with this fear, this monitoring, this tracking is a tremendous amount of pressure, making it even harder to sleep. And then once again, going back to, well, there's got to be a point where I just collapse, where I fall asleep. And yes, and because in this case, since your system is dealing with this fight or flight response, it might get some hypersleep, it might get some sleep, but it's not going to do this collapsing sleep where we just sleep 8 or 10 hours to recover, because the brain is still perceiving threat. So our expectations might be a little bit skewed. So if we can kind of reframe these things and see them for what's actually happening, we can understand why we're in this type of response. I know that was a little bit long-winded, Veronica, but any thoughts on this?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for responding, Christian. And I totally agree to everything what you said. And it's absolutely very scary when we experience night after night that with perceived zero sleep. But for me, one of the most helpful and the first piece of information was that despite we perceive sleep as like non-existent, not present, we still do sleep. There is still some sleep that is happening. Our bodies are capable to take the minimum amount of sleep for us to function the next day. So, of course, this sleep is not refreshing. This sleep is not what we want. But the important thing is that our bodies are capable to produce sleep under any circumstance. So, I would maybe encourage you, Anna, to sorry, to maybe look for these little proofs that you actually slept at night. For example, to that you had a vivid dream, or that the time skipped, or basically anything that can help you prove that yes, you did sleep. Because, for example, my insomnia started with 14 days of what I perceived as zero sleep. But when I look back, like later on, I realized that towards the morning I was so very peaceful. I felt I'm still like hyper vigilant, but still I was so peaceful, and that must have been the sleep happening. So to some extent, I was functioning. I had to. I was working. I was studying. I on and but to this level there was another layer of struggle, fear, terror. Like, oh my goodness, what is wrong going on with me? So, uh, as I mentioned, the first piece of advice from me to you, Anna, is to look for these little proofs that you do sleep. And insomnia recovery is a process of getting back trust to your body. So know that no matter what, your body takes the minimum amount of sleep that needs to function. I hope we have answered your question, Anna. And another question that we got was from Stephanie Thomas Fitness, and that is, I've been struggling with chronic insomnia for 8+ months. Now I'm sleeping 6 to 8 hours most days of the week, but still have a 2 to 4 hour night or two every 7 to 10 days. How do you manage those nights? So first, I would like to acknowledge Stephanie that you have made a wonderful progress. That you are basically sleeping most of the days. But sometimes when we are talking about insomnia, it's not only about okay, I'm sleeping, that's great. But there is still this fear somewhere at the back of our mind, like, but what if it gets worse again, right? So and maybe you are kind of afraid of these nights that you don't sleep, and by this fear you are kind of uh, I don't want to say make it coming back, but in a way it is true, because the more we are afraid of something, the more it is likely that it will come back. Because when we are afraid of a sleepless night, our our brain perceives this as a threat, as a problem. And as a good friend, your brain wants to help you. Like, hey, I want to help you. So let me throw this problem at you all over again and again, so you can come with a helpful solution. and your brain wants to hear from you. Like, okay, I had a sleepless night, but my day was okay. I wasn't afraid of it. I wasn't scared of it. And basically, this is our approach, like how to handle a night or two with a little sleep. What are your thoughts, Christian?
Thank you, Veronica. Yeah, there's just a couple of things. Number one, um, it sounds like there's a lot of tracking on how much you're sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
So if we implemented the timeless sleep window, then we really wouldn't know how much we're sleeping or not. We would start putting less attention and pressure on this number of hours that we're getting and this desired result. I'm only getting 2 to 4, but I'd like to get 6 or 7 or
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is. So since we can't control sleep, why not give it space? Why not back off? Avoid looking at the clock, giving yourself some time. And what if you had nights when you slept 4 hours, but you didn't know and you felt fine? That would in turn give you less pressure to focus on it the next day. So I think the timeless sleep window would be super helpful because we don't need to track, we don't need to monitor. Anything that we're tracking and monitoring gives you more energy, more attention, more focus. Now we feel like we're dealing with a problem. We want to solve the problem. We can't control the problem. So now we have fear, we have anxiety, right? So it just kind of snowballs and just kind of keeps going. So again, highly encourage you to practice a timeless sleep window, though not easy at first, because most of us that are dealing with insomnia love control. We love knowing what's happening. We love knowing when we feel like we've surpassed it or whatever recovery looks like for us. But in reality, it's just really kind of complicating things and instead of helping. The other thought I had is when we refer to ourselves as dealing or struggling with insomnia, it is like something that is with us. It is a disease. I have a cold. I have this thing that I'm trying to get rid of. I honestly, so if you were to ask me, it was just my opinion, I would say that it doesn't sound like you're dealing with insomnia. I would say that you're dealing with sleep disturbances. That puts a lot, once again, less pressure on you as opposed to saying, I have insomnia or I don't want it to come back, because now it's scary. It's a monster. And since you can't control it in a way, we feel vulnerable, feel anxious, right? Once again, we're in a position of feeling like this thing is going to come and get us. When I removed this label of I have insomnia, I would see it as, oh, that's a sleep disturbance. Oh, maybe I didn't sleep very much because I ate something that didn't make me feel very good, or I'm really excited about something that's happening, or I'm nervous or I'm anxious. Who cares, right? It doesn't matter. Whatever it is, think about something, reframe things. In that way, we put less pressure on ourselves. The last thing I want to do is approach myself and go, hi, Veronica, my name is Christian. I'm an ex-insomnia, whatever. So it's like, no, if somebody asks me, have you had any struggles with sleep? I go, yeah, like a human being, I have sleep disturbances. I have things that come up. And, whatever. A wedding was coming up not that long ago, so I was a little bit excited. And maybe I didn't sleep that great. So I don't attach it to this thing anymore. So anything that we can do to start moving ourselves from a position of less pressure, less of a label, will really help a lot with this. It sounds like you're sleeping great. It sounds like you're doing well, but you're not to the point where you have this, desired result, which we can't really control. If you ask me how much I'm sleeping at night, I couldn't tell you. I have no idea. If you ask me how I feel great. So let's reframe things and look at things. How are you feeling? How are you doing? And don't let the hours that you're sleeping determine how you feel. Because there's been days when you have slept 6, 7, 8, whatever hours. You had a super stressful day, whether it's work or friendship, relationship related, whatever it is, and that's made you tired. That's been heavy. That's been a difficult day. We don't question that. So let's start questioning things a lot less in the middle of the night, what's going on, and maybe just checking with yourself and see how you're feeling, how you're responding to it. And I think some of these things are just going to fade with time. But be patient because it takes time. That's what I would say.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. Just show this comment. It's from the same person, Stephanie. And I know all these numbers because I'm working with a CBTI coach. Is it best to stop tracking? So you basically answered this question. I just wanted to share this. And
If I could put a neon glowing sign that says yes, yes,
yeah.
yes, because what is tracking doing? What is tracking doing? It's literally giving you more attention on the sleep. This, listen,
Absolutely.
I know people, a very close friend of mine who did CBTI and recovered beautifully. And I did it and I went insane. It didn't make any sense to me. The idea was, okay, now I have from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. to fall asleep. Here we go. And if I'm not falling asleep, I know I'm losing time. And then I have to track how long it takes me to fall asleep. Who in their right mind can figure out how long it takes them to fall asleep? And
Mm,
then after X amount of time, if you didn't fall asleep, get out of bed. And then get out of bed. And then for like 20 or 30 minutes, tracking some more, do something and try to go back to sleep, come back. Oh my goodness, man. And then you're supposed to write a chart. There's just so much tracking, right? So what was interesting is when, and even the bed, right? The CBTI was like, don't ever, don't get near your bed unless you're going to sleep or you're going to have relations. And so before I used to like take a nap. I used to lay down. Shoot, when my kids were little, I used to lay down. We'd all hang out together and watch goofy cartoons on the bed. It was something that was enjoyable. And now CBTI made this into this very triggering situation. And then all of a sudden it's like, I wonder why I'm so triggered by my bed. Oh yeah, this is when I'm supposed to perfectly perform sleep. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting a little riled up, man. It gave me so much anxiety and it made no sense. So this program is in so many ways the complete opposite, when it's like, do not track, do not worry, everything's okay, you're safe. The other one's like, I need you to put a journal next to your bed and track everything that you're doing magically. When, anyways, I'm gonna stop.
crazy. Thank you so much for sharing this, Christian. I see how emotional you are about CBTI every time you speak
Awful.
about it. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing,
All
and
right.
I'm really glad that because I can see there is a group of people who've been through CBTI and feel like they have failed, and now they feel like they are beyond recovery, but it just was not simply the right approach. So okay, and right. Here's a really nice one. Hi, you both, the best coaches ever. It's Shivam. Hi, you really taught me so much. God bless you both. You're the best. Thank you so much. I
Love you,
appreciate
Shiv.
it.
He was awesome. He's out of England. Great guy.
Wonderful. Okay, so the question that we have is from Marco. So, why does my body let me sleep enough, just 3 hours? I guess why he does sleep only a few hours. I feel that I am like people who are starving. Hmm. Right. What are your thoughts, Christian?
I think going back to the same, almost very similar to the first question. Your body is connected to your brain. Your brain feels that you're in a fight or flight response, and so you think about fight or flight response. Everything is focused on survival, not comfort. You even
Mm,
think about, for example, I remember hearing this and also dealing with this. It's like you generally will start noticing quite a bit of issues with gut. They either
mhm,
are not hungry or sometimes they eat a lot. The patterns become very different. And then you think about what the body's experiencing. So all the blood flow tends to go to the organs that is preparing itself to be in a fight or flight response. It doesn't care about you snacking. It doesn't care about you having a meal. And so
mhm,
it's in survival mode. And so survival mode isn't, I need to get 8 hours of sleep. Survival is whatever we need to do. We need to be ready. We need to be on guard, and we need to defend ourselves. And so for sure, it's confusing when we are trying to get rest, but the subconscious is perceiving this as a fight or flight response, as a threat level. So what we're focusing on in this program is to retrain the brain to see that what the subconscious has perceived as a threat is only perceived. And if we can start reframing things, if we can start putting less pressure on ourselves, and we can start seeing that there's a difference between feeling comfortable and feeling safe, and move over to helping us feel safe, then we can start resting and coming down and getting the sleep that we need, right? You think about any kind of military situation, there's going to be people looking out in the middle of the night to protect everybody else. Our brain is that person looking and try and scan and protect us to keep us safe. And so it's not thinking about sleep, it's thinking about safety first. So when we can start shifting over to seeing that we're safe, we'll start to get the rest and be able to sleep better. Right.
Absolutely, totally agree. Not much to add. Really nice answer, Christian, as always. And we have a question from Anna Shoot. How can you befriend wakefulness and so on when you are so sleep deprived and feel like absolute trash every single day? So then also 2.5 weeks ago, and it's affecting every part of my life. I can start here so you have a little break, Christian. And this is very normal, Anna. uh, it's really challenging, of course, to befriend wakefulness. But I think like the general message that people hear from our channel is to do something enjoyable in the middle of the night when you want to befriend wakefulness. But I would say something enjoyable, it is just an added value. Befriending wakefulness is only as good only when you are just resting in your bed or you are experiencing a night full of anxiety or full of panic, but you are creating space for these emotions. And so naturally, it is not necessary to enjoy the night, of course. Where in the middle of the night, the only thing that you want to do is to sleep. But when the sleep is kind of like out of reach at the given moment, what is the best option how to spend this moment, right? Do you want to spend it ruminating and being anxious and worried and pitying yourself how bad do you feel right now? Or do you want to take this moment, take the worry away, and instead of worry, try to fill it with something that is maybe productive? You can prepare things for the next day, or you can just watch a funny show, or this was actually quite helpful for me because it didn't matter how tired, how exhausted, how frustrated, how angry I am that I'm not sleeping. They always say something funny that I have to laugh. And when I laughed, I was sending signal back to my brain like, hey, being awake at night is not such a disaster as you believe it to be. And of course, when we talk about feeling like trash the next day, of course, sleep deprivation is exhausting. We feel fatigued, we feel tired the next day. But next to physical tiredness, we experience something else, and this is what we call emotional fatigue. And the emotional fatigue comes from worry, rumination, from heavy emotions, from being completely overwhelmed by the fact, oh my God, I'm not sleeping. I'm not going to function tomorrow. I'm going to feel bad. I will not be present for my family at work, and so on and so on and so on. So with the physical tiredness, there is not that much we can do. We can take a shower. We can just take an extra cup of coffee, and we're good. But with the emotional tiredness, this opens us an option how to work with ourselves. And when we start to work with ourselves, it gives us it is going to another benefit of it will be that it's going to benefit us in other areas of our lives, which means we learn about our thoughts and we learn about our emotions. We get to learn ourselves much better. And I know right now for you, Anna, it must be really difficult if it's something that it just started, and it's a very overwhelming experience. If you don't know what is going on with you, what is happening, and there is no end in sight, but know that the improvement in the insomnia recovery is not measured by the number of hours you sleep. Um, it's measured, although I don't like this word for it, by the way how you navigate the difficult moments, how you navigate the sleeplessness in the middle of the night, how you navigate the anxiety, how you navigate the fear and fearful thoughts that come with it. So if these lovers, if anxiety fades a little, you know you are on the right way, and sleep will become a byproduct of this inner work. So good. I will not give you a word this time. And Coach Christian, hey, are you there? You seem like you froze. But anyway, Anna, I hope I have answered your question. And I would like to move on. We have another ones. So here is a nice one from Debra. I agree with Christian regarding CBTI. I attended a CBTI course with a top London sleep psychiatrist who told me I was severely ill because I had insomnia. That certainly didn't improve my situation. I'm really, really sorry you had to experience this, Debra, and I'm really sorry this you had to go through this, because this is so scary, especially when you are told something like this by a doctor, by someone who is respected in this field, and who gives you this kind of like sentence, right? Like, oh my gosh, you're severely ill, and I can't even imagine the pain you had to go through, Debra. But I'm glad that you have found out our channel, and I really do hope that that's also thanks to our help, and naturally thanks to your help, that you will engage more into our channel, and will get over insomnia. And where are we now? Da, 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 da. Oh, here is another hi from Jamie. Hi, Jamie. Here is our friend. Welcome to Cities Live. Love you guys. We love you too, Jamie. Thank you so much for support. Okay. Da, 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 da. Here's a question from Anna to me. Thank you for your answer. Daniel says, you speak German. Can you work with me on the bedtime app? Of course, you can sign up for the bedtime app and ask for me for a coach, and we can have conversation in German. I'll be really looking forward to it, Anna. And now, da, 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 da. My mind's running. Okay, I have a question from Stephanie again. And thank you for your question, Stephanie, of course. And the question is, my mindset around those nights is improving, but I'm wondering why they are even happening and how I could fully recover. I never know when a bad night is coming, and I can feel frustrating. Of course, this is a very common situation, Stephanie. And uh, these thoughts are not a problem. The problem is that you believe them and you are scared of them. Because in a day, you can experience like tens of thousands, like it is said, like we experience 70,000 of thoughts. But why is it that we believe to some thoughts and to others we don't, right? Um, so because you're so scared of insomnia, you're so scared of being awake at night, you know you have this emotional attachment. You when you get one thought from your brain, then you will literally latch on this. Just 1 second. I'm sorry, Coach Christian is writing me in again. He obviously dropped from the call. Okay. And when you basically latch on these thoughts, they very often create an emotional response. So with this emotional response, you basically, your brain sees like, oh my goodness, Stephanie is afraid of this thought. And like I mentioned earlier, when we are afraid of something, our brain keeps throwing this back at us because it believes that it's helping us. It is like our clumsy friend that is trying to help us, but not in a very helpful way. So the thing is, start to uh, perceive these thoughts like uh, start to perceive these thoughts like a cloud or something that is um, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out the technical issues with Coach Christian. But what I wanted to say, you don't have to believe everything that your brain is trying to tell you, right? I know this is hard to believe, but for example, um, I had an experience. I could lay in my bed very calm, but then one thought came to my mind: what if I don't sleep tonight? And in that moment, an anxiety washed all over my body. And naturally, I thought, if I feel like this at the beginning of the night, I'm not going to sleep for the rest of the night, right? And this was kind of like self-fulfilling prophecy. But when I started to learn about thoughts, that they're just a signal from our brain, and I don't have to believe them, that I don't have to really engage with them. All that is needed from me is to basically to say something like this: thank you, brain, for sending me this thought. I know I'm safe. That's it. And you can just return to what you have been doing before. These thoughts will occur, they will be coming, but the difference is in your response. For example, on like I said, the same thought, what if I don't sleep tonight, before created a huge wave of anxiety. But now I can still have these thoughts, but I'm not afraid of it anymore. So look into this, work on this, Stephanie, and it will get better. Okay, so let's answer one last question. And this is from SC. I found this channel very quickly and have been able to manage my anxiety, but my sleep seems to be choppy for 2 nights, then good for one, then bad for 2 nights. How do I gain sleep confidence again? So first of all, there is kind of like nothing like sleep confidence. If you would ask someone, how do you sleep, or how confident are you in your sleep ability, they would just look at you in a confused way, like, what are you talking about? I don't know, right? So they don't think about sleep in the way we think, in the way we believe that this is a performance, right? So uh, the only confidence that we should have around sleep is that there is nothing wrong with us, and our body is always taking the minimal amount of sleep that it needs. The sleep that we have in the present moments, whether it's just zero perceived sleep, or whether it's the hypersleep, or unrefreshing sleep, these various nuances of sleep are just sleep. There is, when we allow it without the judgment, it will be much easier for us, and this kind of um, sleep, it will simply get better and better. So naturally, I remember quickly manage my anxiety, but my sleep seems to be choppy for 2 nights and good for one, and bad for 2 nights. This is very common. We call it a pattern. And with the patterns, it gets tricky. It gets tricky because we very often try hard um, to predict whether is this the night whether I will sleep, or is this a night whether I will not sleep. And naturally, when we are trying to uh, guess the pattern, it can go both ways. Either if we feel like um, any uh, it will be like any of those night, good one or bad one, we probably the one way it will go is that I don't have to do anything, I will not sleep anyway, or kind of we stop trying to sleep, and it's very likely that the sleep will happen. Or if we believe this is going to the bad night of sleep, we try to do things to try to prevent it. And this is very likely that it will be a poor nights of sleep because of all the efforts, all the attention, and all the monitoring. So the best thing is that to not monitor for any patterns, because anyway they change and you can't predict anything in advance. You cannot predict the next moment what happens, let alone hours later. So if we don't look for any pattern, it will be much easier for you. So I hope I have answered your question, SC. Thank you very much, everybody, for being here. I'm sorry for the technical issues today, but I will be back here with one of the other coaches next week. Thank you for your questions and have a really nice rest of the day or evening. Bye bye. Take care.